So my persuasive speech topic is about why vaccines are important and why vaccines should be required for children to enter into the school district. So first I want to talk about a 2019 article from Education Week by Evie Bladd, who is a journalist for Education Week, and it's entitled When Measles Breaks Out, Unvaccinated Kids Send School Scrambling. So she states in this article that school-age vaccine mandates have been credited with practically eradicating many severe illnesses within the community. And this article describes the current problem with the spreading of measles since the anti-vax trend has gained in popularity and practically grown overnight. It also talks about how measles is spreading more in schools than anywhere else in the country, and it also disproves the idea that vaccines can cause developmental disorders. So this article supports my proposition of policy that vaccines are necessary to keep diseases from spreading in schools and to other children. And it also supports my second main point that vaccines help keep illnesses from plaguing our community. So the second article that I want to talk to y'all about is a 2017 article from the Meningitis Research Foundation that was written by Claire Wright, who is an evidence and policy manager for the Meningitis Research Foundation. So she states in this article, should vaccinations be mandatory, that rates of exemptions have increased in recent years, and studies have shown that vaccines exemptions tend to cluster geographically, which leaves some communities at greater risk for disease outbreak. So this article describes the problem with personal belief exemption policies, as well as discussing how herd immunity works in communities and why it is so important to keep diseases at bay, and why it's important for people that are immunocompromised. So this source supports my third main point that states that some people cannot receive vaccines due to prior health complications, and when people take advantage of the personal belief exemption policies, they're putting those immunocompromised people at a higher risk for contamination. So lastly, my third article is a 2015 article from Scientific American entitled How to Get Parents to Vaccinate Their Kids. So Dinah Fine-Marin, who is a writer for Scientific American, states in this article that Mississippi does not allow parents to exempt their children from receiving vaccines for personal beliefs. And the state has the highest vaccination rates in the country, which I didn't know. I didn't know that Mississippi had the highest vaccination rate in the country, but I did know that we didn't allow parents to use the personal belief exemption policy. So this article describes different ways to help parents understand that vaccines are necessary, as well as going into detail about new strategies to use for implementing vaccines. It also talks about how vaccine hesitant parents tend to live in clusters, which increases disease outbreaks, and how expenses have a factor in getting a child vaccinated, because they are expensive and some people can't afford them. But this article showed new strategies and ways that parents will be able to afford to get vaccines for their children. So this article supports my first main point that vaccines do not cause autism or other developmental disorders, as well as my third main point that vaccine hesitant parents want to use the personal belief exemption policy to their advantage, and this causes greater risk to those around them, as well as putting immunocompromised parents and children at a much higher risk just because they cannot receive those vaccines to keep them from contracting many severe illnesses that plague our community today. And that should be it. So thank y'all for listening.